Just looking ahead to this Iowa game, when you think Iowa, Wisconsin, what just kind of comes to mind there?
It's a gritty game of two teams who know each other's styles of football. Both teams kind of know what they're going to get. I mean, that's kind of where it's always such a battle, and we know it's going to be a physical ball game. The cultures are very similar in a way of downhill physical football, taking pride in good defense, and that's the game it is every single year. And so you got to buckle up your chin straps and just ready to go.
There were a lot of other things on everyone's mind last season, but when they walked out of there with the trophy in Camp Randall, what do you kind of just remember about seeing that go down?
Yeah, it sucks even just coming into the building every day and you look at our trophy case and it's empty. I've seen an empty trophy case throughout this whole year so far. We take pride in our rivalry. We take pride in making sure that trophy stays here in Camp Randall. So for that to not happen last year, that was disappointing. I think it's going to be. We know that this game is very, very important, not only just for our season, but for our entire program.
You mentioned in the past couple of shortcomings, you were upset with the team for not continuing to keep swinging. Things went bad early in the first quarter against Purdue. A couple mistakes. They come down, cash in a couple times off those mistakes.
Yeah.
What did you like about the team's second half performance to outscore them 20-0?
Yeah, that's what I was most proud of, was how he responded to what didn't seem to be a perfect start of the game. The game wasn't perfect on both sides of the ball. We had our screw-ups on defense. We got hitting them out early defensively, and everybody stuck together. And I think that's been the message, at least from what we preach in the locker room and from what I've told y'all in the last several weeks. That's been the message of staying together, keep swinging, just having some pride about what you do every play for this program. And I think everybody executed that last week, and that's what you get out of it when you keep swinging, when you take pride in winning your rep every single play, no matter what the outcome has been in the past. So proud of everybody last week. We gotta keep that up.
It felt like water kind of finding its level against Purdue with the 5 turnovers after so many had just slipped through your fingertips against the Iowa team that doesn't commit a lot of mistakes and historically very protective of the football.
Yeah. And
you're facing on the other end an Iowa team that's forcing a lot of turnovers. How big do you think those could be Saturday if you're able to cash in on a couple?
Yeah. Turnovers are going to be huge on both sides of the ball. We have to hold on to the ball, and they're very good at taking the ball away this season. We got to be able to hold on to the ball, and if we can take the ball and combine those two together, that can really help our team out, especially in a game like this where turnovers. You expect it to be a close game. You expect it to be a battle. So in those games, turnovers are huge, and field position, all that stuff. So taking the ball away this week is going to be a huge key of how we can win this game.
This will be your 5th ranked opponent in 8 games to open up the season. Does it wear on you guys at all? Just the number of tough games you guys are playing to open the season? Is that kind of more talking points that?
We don't really pay attention to the rankings, to be honest, too much. Obviously we respect the program regardless whether they were ranked or not. I think we give them the same exact respect. But when you kind of look at it from a college football fan's point of view, is what I kind of like to do sometimes. Would you say it's our 5th ranked game?
Yes.
5th? That's awesome. You should want to come to Wisconsin. You should want to come to a program like this to have a schedule like this. Every single week is important. You're playing the best of the best. I wouldn't want it any other way. I think it's awesome. I think it's so fun to be able to be in that type of college football world.
When you look at that Iowa run offense and the things they like to do with Goodson, what type of challenge is that going to be for your defense as a whole?
Yeah, just feeding. I think the key is just feeding off of last week. Continuing that momentum. We had a great week last week of preparation, run to the ball, taking the ball away during practice. So I think continuing those habits this week throughout practice is going to be a major key of continuing that momentum.
You mentioned kind of just treating every game the same. Obviously, this one could have huge implications on who wins the West. Is that something you guys talk about in the locker room and discuss, or is it something that just doesn't need to be said? It's Iowa, Wisconsin. Let's go.
It's not talked about too much, but when it's kind of like a quick reminder before we go out to go work. I mean, it's like, hey, every week's the Big Ten championship for us. It's do or die every week. So those messages are quickly brought up either at the end of practice or before practice, just to give us a quick reminder of have some urgency throughout your day of when you're in this building. So it's a good mentality to have, but we still got to take it week by week.
I know there's no carryover week to week, but obviously you guys just beat the Purdue team that beat Iowa pretty handedly at home. Do you look at that and get confidence off that, or are you thinking that was an off day for Iowa, we can't expect that type of thing?
I mean, we should definitely get confidence. I think you can feel the confidence in this building coming into the walkthrough today. I think that win last week, was huge for us in gaining that confidence. And I mean, just collectively as a team, knowing that we can be a successful team. It's tough when you're not winning games to keep that, but when you're winning, it really helps improve that confidence. I can feel it.
I know you guys talked a little bit about the difficulty of schedule that you had really early on. Is that something you guys are pulling from now? Because defensively, when you guys did have some good performances in some of those games, is that something you pull off of?
Yeah, I mean, so you're talking about like the difficulty of
just like those ranked opponents
ranked
you faced
opponents
early on. Yeah, is that you kind of pull from any of that experience facing guys?
Yeah,
like that?
Absolutely. I think even the adversity that we faced earlier in this season, the games we lost. I think even from last week when we faced adversity, I think facing that earlier in the season really helped us handle that. Going into last week when we had some mess ups here and there. So definitely, we're definitely learning from those experiences and being able to apply it now and apply it in a positive way instead of repeating the same things. I think it's huge, and it shows how this team is growing and we're maturing, and we have to keep doing that.
People don't, losing's never fun, but are you glad you got to face good ranked opponents early on as opposed to maybe games that didn't matter as much because now it's really working in your favor?
Yeah. I was, what I said earlier, I think it's awesome that we get to play these type of games. I mean, you're on the biggest stage of college football, almost every week. 5 out of 8 games so far, 5 out of 8 have been ranked opponents. I mean, that's awesome. That should make you want to come here and play football here for Wisconsin. You get to play in those big time games. So, there's no wear and tear about it. I mean, you should be able to afford to get those type of games every week.
Obviously, we've seen the defense gel well on the field. What is it like off the field? What's the chemistry amongst this defense?
Oh yeah, we talked about this earlier before the season even started, but just how close this team is. I mean, off the field, we have so much fun together. I mean, we're always doing something, whether in the locker room or when we leave this facility, we're still hanging out with each other, still doing a lot of things off the field, hanging out at each other's houses, playing video games, doing all types of stuff with each other. So that close, tight-knit chemistry that you see on the field, I mean, it really starts with off the field. And this is the closest group that I've been around.
On the other side of the ball, we at least saw in fall camp, the coaches make an effort to get Jalen some touches and see what he can do athletically. You go up against him at practice. What can he potentially bring to this offense now that he's seemingly going to be on the field on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think his ceiling is really high. I mean, he's got great athletic ability. He played outside linebacker for us and was making plays there. So his athletic ability, his ceiling is very high. And, I think the way he can run, the way he can move is different than most tight ends, just based off of his athletic ability. So I think he can bring that type of dimension to our offense, which is that's exciting.